Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. I actually forgot if I called this the Fruit of Grisaia or Grisaia no Kajitsu. I always don't really remember whatever I say sometimes when I do these videos. But yeah, welcome back. I just finished up doing my cycling session. And today is Friday, so tomorrow, Saturday, hopefully I will be productive enough to record a lot of videos. You know that feeling when you want to be productive, but sometimes you just want to laze about and not doing anything? I've been kind of doing that for the past couple of weekends, and while it does feel nice, I do feel like it's so weird to feel, or being unproductive is not a really good feeling to have. So I do want to try to get rid of that feeling. So hopefully tomorrow, I won't be so lazy that I will be lazing around every day or throughout the whole day. But yeah, let's continue, shall we? What was the last event or this last scene that we saw? I remember somewhat, it was Machina. I remember we were going towards that alley. Machina saw us. Was that the last one? I don't think it was the last one. Oh, right. Okay, it was the Hornet thing. So Michiru came into the classroom with the Hornet and all that. I forgot what it was before that, though. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see what it is. There's a lot of there's a lot of dialogue in this game. But yeah, it's not really like the nice thing about this game is that you don't really need to know about the plot all too much. It's mostly if you watch Doraemon or something like an anime like that, it's kind of like the scenes themselves are what is it? Standalone. So you don't have to watch like episode 1 before episode 2 and episode 51 before episode 52. Kind of like that. But then again, I guess it does mean that you're not really seeing the character interaction all that much. So you are missing something. But I don't think you're missing all that much. But alright, enough about my rambling. Let's continue, shall we? After middle school, you won't be popular with the girls if all you can do is fight. You need brains too. I don't think I've ever been popular, or I don't think anyone has been popular just because they were fighting when they were younger. At least in my schools. Or so my master taught me. So are you smart then? In response to the obvious question, my master had replied that women are more popular if they're a little dim-witted. I don't know if that's true or not, but okay. I think she might have intended it as a joke, not that it was remotely funny. My master wasn't much of a comedian, but there's one thing I have to thank her for. Specifically, she's the one who really got me hooked on reading. There are a vast number of books in this world, and the majority are interesting in some way. Even if you get stuck with a seriously dull one, if you look at it critically and figure out why it's a failure, the time you spend with it isn't a complete waste. I guess that's not wrong, but I don't know, man. I've read some really, really bad stuff, Yuji. I'm looking at you, Yuno. Man, that was a lot of my free time wasted. Is it worth the time that I invested into it? I don't think so. And there was also Boku 10. That was like 40-something hours of my time wasted. I don't know. I can't really look at it that way anymore. I devoured books like an addict when I was a kid. And my master would get me anything I wanted to read, even comics or porn magazines. It's a damn good thing if you can enjoy reading. Why? Let's make use of the time you spend waiting in the dentist's office, doesn't it? Am I supposed to laugh now? Not to say that I've gained much wisdom from what I've read in waiting rooms, but I think I can at least smile at those words today. Machina, you here? I mean, sure. Like, if you're not doing anything and then you want to read while waiting, I guess that's a lot of... That's making use of your time. When you're waiting and then you don't have anything else to do, reading is a good pastime. But when I was reading my visual novel, I usually don't really do anything else except recording it, right? So I have like 100% focus on it. Yeah, sure, sometimes I days off when when my brain's like disconnected from what the hell is happening in the story, but that's not like the norm. I usually have 100%, I'm being there. My state of mind is being in the story. But yeah, when you're not really doing anything, I guess reading is a good pastime. Even if it is something stupid that you're reading. Hey Makina, why aren't you in your own room? True. Yes, there was a note on her door. Thing is, the paper was yellowed and wrinkled. There's no telling how long it's been up there. Are you always in Amani's room? Yes, the room I've just entered is in fact Amani's. Looking around, a good half of the room is buried in random junk. I'd guess Makina has been doing her best imitation of a squirrel preparing for hibernation, depositing things here little by little with every visit. I appreciate the neighborly spirit, but this isn't your room. Again with this, Amane. God damn it, why are you naked again, woman? I don't know if this is censored or not, but I'm guessing she should be naked. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember this scene, but I did remember the first one because it was fairly early in the game. Nothing much. Just stopped by to lend Makina a book. It's for that thing. I point toward one item among Makina's pile of junk, an aquarium containing her crawfish. She asked me if I knew any books with detailed instructions on raising crawfish, so I took a look around a store by the station. Sorry about that. How old are you again? I don't think that's something I should actually ask in these type of games. Here, this is it. The part about raising crawfish starts on page 38. The last 2 pages talk about getting them to turn blue. I guess this is the point where, like, internet isn't really all that widespread yet. You'd think that the dorm would have their own Wi-Fi connection or something. Or at least each room. Or maybe not each room, that would be way too much. But, maybe just like a public one. As soon as Makina accepts the book from me, she sits down on the spot with a thump and starts to rifle through the pages. When I tried this experiment as a kid, there was a range of variation among the individuals, but most of them did turn some shade of blue. By the way, Amane, I have a question of my own. Do you mind? Why exactly are you constantly half naked? I see. I'll try to work on that. But I mean, I think you do the kya thing and hide your chest before I get a chance to bring it up. Usually. Amane, no more concerned with my glance than before, walks briskly to her vanity and flips on a hairdryer. Are you really sure this is something you should be saying to me, Amane? I don't think that's something I need to know. Then again, I am that type of person that type of person that also tells too much information about themselves. So I can't really say that to Amane. I'm also that type of person. Big tits are tough in their own way, I say. Yeah, if you're offering. Makina places her book on the floor, opens Amane's refrigerator, then promptly sticks her head in and starts rooting around like she owns the place. It's basically as much her room as Amane's by this point. Just how long has Makina been hanging around in this room?
そうね。マキナがこの学園に来てからずっとかな。この子、一人だと夜中に大声上げて泣くから。失敬なのよさ。今はもう泣かないのよ。時々自分のお部屋に帰って寝てるもの。月に一度帰るかどうかじゃない。しかも私に怒られた時とかそんな時ばっかり。ねえ、お兄ちゃんはああやって意地悪なことばっかり言う女をどう思う？
They say it's a rare thing to find a woman other than your mother who will nag you. Take good care of her, alright?
お兄ちゃんまでそんなことを言う。随分と住みにくい世の中になったものよさ。飲まなきゃやってられないのよさ。
Man, you're so cheeky, Makina. Can't say I hate her though. As she speaks, Makina hands me a can of orange juice. Look, Makina, can we do something about this Oni-chan thing?
Huh? なんで？
Well, how can I put this? It feels a little awkward.
そのうち慣れると思うのよ。私もマキナって呼ばれるの慣れたし。
What do you mean? You don't like being called by your own name?
実はね、私マキナって名前あんまり好きじゃないのよさ。
Oh? And why is that?
なんかマキナってバギナみたいなのよさ。
Man, can I revoke whatever I said about Makina? Jesus, you have a potty mouth. What?
だからバギナ。
I see. Well, that's certainly a very feminine name.
でもね、バギーナって言うとなんかアイドルっぽいよね。
Yeah, whatever you say. Hey, Amane!
何さ？
Is this girl high? Just what are you putting in her food?
失礼ね。何も変なものは食べさせてないわよ。
So she says, but this is like talking to one of those guys who self-medicate the night before a major operation. I feel like I'm dealing with someone who sees things they shouldn't see and hears voices they shouldn't hear. Instinctively, I drop my hand onto Makina's head and vigorously ruffle her hair around.
痛えよ。
Your pupils don't look dilated.
そんなに疑うならあんたも食べてく。
What?
だから晩ご飯。今夜はおでんにするつもりだから人数増えても平気だし。
Oden sounds delicious.
ほほー、おでんというと。違います。あなたが今想像したのは北欧神話の最高神です。ポケをインターセプトされた。がっかりなのよさ。
The hell?
まあいいからいいから食べていきなさい。
Hey!
下手に断ってアマネーに恥かかせちゃダメなのよ。いいからおいで。
Makina seizes my hand and tries to forcibly drag me further inside. Well, alright, fine. There probably won't be anything I dislike in an Oden stew anyway. I'll eat pretty much anything that's put in front of me, but I do have some foods I find a little difficult to deal with on a psychological level. You know, back when I was younger, I definitely was a type of person that was picky. I wouldn't eat my veggies. Even the meats that I eat are very limited. Like, I would eat chicken, I would eat pork, but only specific type of pork. Like spam, I would eat, but only if it's cooked in a certain way. And I also used to not eat chicken that's on the noodles we have here. Over here in Indonesia, we have this thing called bakmi, which is basically just Chinese noodles, right? And they usually use, what is it? Like soy sauce chicken? It's delicious now, but when I was younger, I guess because it looks weird, I kind of didn't want to eat it. But yeah, I used to be a very picky eater. I don't know when I developed the habit to not be a picky eater anymore. I think it was around middle school, so I don't think it was this visual novel specifically that made me not be a picky eater. But yeah, I used to be very picky.
はい、ここ座って。
Yeah. Offered a cushion with a cute girly design, I sit down a bit reluctantly. In an instant, Makina has plopped herself down on top of my knees. Ah, okay, I remember this scene. I remember my friend was actually streaming this game, right? And I don't think it was it out on Steam yet? I think it was out on Steam, but he used a patch to use the unrated version. And this scene actually has a nip slip of Makina. Very, very, you know, not really weird, but I guess technically it's weird when you're just doing this for the story and then suddenly there's like a nipple and stuff. And people wonder why the hell visual novels are not more popular when they do some random fan service like that. Look, you.
何さ。
Why are you sitting on my lap?
え、嫌なの？
That's not what I'm saying, but that line's familiar. I hadn't realized until now. But Makina seems to have a habit of imitating Amani's speech. Now that I think about it, that you know she's always tagging on the end of her sentences for no particular reason seems like it might be a corruption of Amani's frequent you know. And Makina's forcible tone and attitude toward men also remind me of a certain someone. They do say pets start to resemble their owners. Someday, this girl might well become the sort of evil woman who walks around with her tits hanging halfway out, seducing struggling shopkeepers into giving away their livelihood. We can't have that. To tell the truth, from my current position, Makina's modest breasts are clearly visible. Yeah, see, this is definitely... This is something that doesn't make sense on the censored version, or at least on the PS Vita version, which is what I assume this is based on. Because in the original, you can see the nipple, but this one, you can't. For those of certain tastes, these things might have a power to tempt exceeding that of Amani's oversized others.
何？
Hey, Amani!
何よ、今手が離せないんだけど。
Why does this girl jump onto men's laps without a second thought? I'm leaning toward blaming you.
はぁ？嫌なら下ろせばいいじゃない。
I'm not saying I hate it, but if she starts casually hopping on top of strange old men in town, I think we might run into some problems.
大丈夫よ。言ったと思うけど、マキナって結構人見知りするから。っていうか、あんたたちいつの間にそんなに仲良くなったの？
Well, we haven't a couple of chances to talk recently, I guess.
それにしたって、この子がこんなに早く男の人に懐くのって初めてよ。あんたマキナに何したの？
I mean, I'm the only guy in this school, right, Amani? How would you know how attached she is to some other guy? Nothing particularly comes to mind.
男の人とは話すのだって苦手なのに、マキナとまともに会話できる男の人って八百屋のおじさんぐらいよ。
I mean, she's bound to talk to me sometimes, right? Because I live in the same place. That a fact. So why was Makina gotten so attached to me? I don't remember taming her with food or teaching her dirty games behind mommy's back. I search my memory, but nothing really stands out.
ね、お兄ちゃん、これ開けて。
Completely disinterested in my ruminations, Makina pushes her can of orange juice toward me and tilts her head to the side as she asks for help. A pretty standard pattern among women playing the moe type, who try to tickle the male heart with an appeal to their own helplessness. But Makina's fingers are stubby and thin. I wouldn't be surprised if opening a can really was a challenge. Yeah, here you go.
ありがとう、お兄ちゃん。何？なんかあんたたち本当に仲がいいわね。マキナがこんなに人に甘えるのって珍しいわよ。
And if you try to pull something like that, I'd probably punch you, right?
なんで私本人に同意を求めるかな。それで私になんて答えろっての？
So she doesn't let just anybody pamper her like this.
そうね。私以外にそうやってベタベタすることってほとんどないかな。
I kind of butchered how I said that sentence. Sorry. I see. Whether or not Makina's paying attention to our conversation about her, she continues to flip through the book on my lap without comment. I personally wouldn't ever let someone do this. Maybe if it's like my niece who's, you know, she's super young, 6 years old. Because I mean, she's a kid. But Makina, come on! Yeah, sure, we're not supposed to ask her age, but she definitely is not 6 years old. Come on.
もうマキナ、おっぱい見えてるってば。ブラしなさいっていつも言ってるでしょ。
Yeah, there you go.
だってあれきついのよさ。きついって言うほど出っ張っちゃいないでしょがあんた。いいからおいで。もうちょっとで読み終わるのに。ほら、着せてあげるから立って。
Amane reaches her hands under Makina's armpits and forcibly drags her up off my knees. A sense of emptiness might be going a bit far, but the sudden removal of that limp, warm creature from my lap leaves me feeling slightly lonely.
はい、ちゃんと自分の足で立つの。もう足踏んでるし。ごめんよ。もう、ほら。キャミ脱がすから万歳して。万歳。
Hey, how about having her put her clothes on by herself?
この子服着るの下手なのよ。っていうか服が嫌いなのね。病院ではずっとスモックしか着てなかったって言うし。
Gowns?
ほら、病院で手術を受ける人が着るやつ、背中で縛って着るの。
Ah, right.
あればっかり着てたせいか、ゆるっとした服じゃないと嫌がるし。こうやって誰かが服を着せてあげないとパンツすら履かないのよね。ちょっと。
I mean, I do that myself in my own room in my own house, but I guess she's comfortable enough to be like that in Amane's room. I don't do that in someone else's room though, only my own.
我慢しなさい。こうやって背中と脇の下から脂肪を寄せ集めてカップに詰めるの。そうすればほら、ちょっと出っ張るでしょ。息苦しいのよさ。女ってのは息苦しいものなのよ。はい、できた。
I wouldn't even know how to comment on that because I don't have breasts, of course. Nah, you're way too thin to actually have any boobs at all, Makina. Yeah, they're shockingly big. What do you eat to get a pair like that?
パン、あとイチゴ。そりゃ単純にあんたの好きな食べ物でしょうが。
So Makina likes bread and strawberries best, huh? Kind of childish tastes, but I guess that fits with her personality.
基本的にあんまりご飯食べないのよこの子。でもなぜかパンと果物だけはよく食べるのよね。パンは硬いパンがいいのよさ。
Hard bread? What's with that?
ほら、フランスパンとかドイツの方の硬いパンあるでしょ。日本人は普通さ、ふわふわでもちもちしたパンが好きなんだけど、なぜかこの子は重くて硬いパンが好きなのよね。
I mean, I like both. I don't like stale bread though. Well, then again, stale is not really the same as firm.
ふにゃふにゃしたパンなんざ歯の悪いグランマの食い物なのよさ。パンはやっぱりどっしりとした重みと歯ごたえがないと美味しくないのよさ。まあ朝はあんまり食べたがらないんだけど、チーズとハムとレタスをライ麦パンに挟んだサンドイッチならもりもり食べるわよ。
I see.
ねえアマネ、私もう本読んでいい？いいわよ。ちゃんと床に座って読みなさい。ユウジくんの膝の上でジュースこぼしたりしないように。
You don't have it easy, do you, Amane?
まあ手のかかる子だけど、そこが可愛いって思えばあまり苦にはならないし、変な子だなとは思うけど、これがあの子の素の状態なのよね。
I'm the sort who tend to suspect the girl's purposefully acting younger than her age to take advantage of her childish looks. But in this case, I don't think I can disagree. That really is just how she is.
それにね、あの子自分で自分のことバカだって言うけど、そんなに頭が悪いわけじゃないのよ。むしろ私なんかよりずっと頭いいんだから。
Well, I suppose if we use you as a standard, the gap isn't quite that dramatic, but...
失礼な。というか、マキナを侮っちゃダメよ。証拠見せてあげようか？
Demonstration?
マキナ、ちょっとおいで。
なんなのよさ。
あんたその本読み終わった？
そうね、大体は。
じゃあその本ちょっと貸してみ。問題出してあげる。
いいけど。
Amane takes the book from Makina and promptly hands it over to me.
そんじゃ161ページ。
動物の進化シリーズ、大型恐竜の時代、中生代ジュラ紀。約1億4600年前から2億年前。中生代第2の時代はジュラ紀と呼ばれ、恐竜の時代としてよく知られている。三畳紀に出現した恐竜たちは数多くの種を生み出し、その繁栄は後の白亜紀まで続く。
あれ？これってザリガニの本じゃないの？
It's a general book about animals aimed at children. There's a lot of other stuff in there as well. I opened the book Amane handed to me to page 161. Spread across both pages is a color illustration of a plesiosaur, with words in a bold white typeface printed all around it.
内容は合ってる？
She was indeed. Without even a single misplaced word.
じゃあ次は29ページ。
そこは広告ページ。合文社の子供の学習シリーズ、働く自動車、神秘の世界宇宙、野鳥で見る環境科学、絶滅した愉快な動物。日本の工場、コンタクトレンズができるまで、土と微生物の働き、有機栽培の野菜作り。
You know, in games like this, it's pretty easy for people to act like they have perfect memory like this, but I do wonder just how it is for people that have perfect memory. I wonder if it's a burden on them sometimes when you can't really forget some of the stuff you want to forget.
じゃあ86ページは？
猫より犬の方が賢いって本当？犬の種類の多様性は他の種をはるかにしのぎ、多岐にわたる。長年人間の手によって交配されてきた犬の歴史は、狩猟用や刀剣用や愛玩用とさまざまなバリエーションを生み出し、今なおその種を増やし続けている。
どう？合ってるでしょ？
She's correct, alright.
どうよ、すごくない？この短時間でパラパラっと流し読みしただけで、あの本の内容丸々一冊全部覚えちゃったんだよ。天才じゃない？
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to be sure.
あれ？あんまり驚いてないね。
Makina, I got a question. You remember the photograph of a bird on page 144?
覚えてるのよ。
What color is it?
わかんない。
If I say blue, you'd sort of think blue. But if I say red, you'd get the feeling it might be red? Thought so.
なに？どういうこと？
Seems like Makina memorizes the pages in monochrome. Loses the color information.
え？
Easier to memorize it quickly that way, right?
そういうことなのよさ。
いや、ごめん。私にはさっぱりわからない。
I mean, I think after reading this back when I was in high school, I did give it a shot, you know, trying to memorize a page of a book just by looking at it from a monochrome. But come on, man, you can't do that. Maybe on a children's book it's easy, but Have you seen the books in high school or even when you're in college? Look at how small the fonts are. There's no fucking way you're gonna be able to remember the page, like, you know, like say page 157, the whole word for it. There's no fucking way. To tell the truth, well, then again, I don't have photographic memory, so maybe it's different for people who have it. To tell the truth, my sister had the exact same skill. I first noticed my big sister speed reading when she was 7 years old. Watching her flip through a stack of books from the school library incredibly quickly, I couldn't suppress my curiosity. Can you really read them like that? My sister answered, I'm not reading them, but I am memorizing the contents in a perfectly casual tone of voice. Completely incredulous, I tested my sister on the spot. Exactly like Amane did with Makina just now, I gave her a page number and asked her to read me back the contents. And of course, she remembered every single word. According to her, it's much faster to memorize the books when they're in black and white. When dealing with books where color information wasn't important, she could even memorize 2 pages simultaneously using her left and right eye. I was totally dumbfounded at the time. 4 years later, by the time she was 11, my sister was managing rapid memorization of colored books as well. And thanks to long hours of practice, her left and right eye could actually memorize separate books simultaneously. Hearing that went past the level of surprise. It was outright terrifying. Basically, she's not reading the book. She's recording the pages as an image in the right side of her brain. When you ask her about the contents, she reproduces the image in her right brain and reads it by consciously interpreting the characters with her left brain. That sound about right, Makina?
そうそう。うまく説明できないけど、そういうことなのよさ。
I mean, it's a plausible theory. I don't know if that's actually how it works, though.
わかんないな。具体的にはどうやってるの？
I don't know the details myself, but it's basically looking at the page as a picture instead of lines of characters, and saving a mental snapshot. Yeah, think of this as a game, okay, Amane, and then you use the F12 on Steam, and then it screenshots the whole thing, puts that in your brain or whatever, brain space. Ignoring the meaning, she processes it rapidly as light information, then draws out the meaning later on if she needs it. To put it more simply, it's sort of like she's downloading a compressed file to her hard drive, then extracting what she needs later, I guess.
何それ？つまり本を読み終わった時点では本の内容を知らないってこと？
Yeah, exactly.
私の一番の問題は、一度覚えたはずなのに、その記憶をどこにしまったか忘れちゃうことなのよさ。
ダメじゃん。
Even if you can record something in your mind, your memory as a whole can still be a disorganized mess. Apparently, you can work on that by training your synapses.
どうやって？
If you repeatedly memorize the same information, it stimulates your synapses and make it harder to forget. Yeah, I mean, I learned that too in psychology. Basically just repetition. Or basically just studying in general. My sister would record the same image 8 times over before she turned the page. Other than that, you can also memorize while moving your body in specific ways, which ties the image to your procedural memory and makes it more durable.
よくわかんねえ。
I mean, there's the 3 types of people that learn, right? From auditory, and then from visual, and then last one is that one where you, like what Yuji said, it correlates to what you're doing in physical activity. Like sometimes you're not being able to, what is it? Like say when you're holding your pen and you can't actually stop playing with your pen while you're studying. It kind of stimulates it that way. I forgot what it's called. That's fine. Not like there's any reason you have to turn into a genius like that.
そうそう。天才になったところで得られるのは賞賛じゃなくて敵意と嫉妬だって言うじゃない？
Who's they? Where did you hear that?
誰だっけ？なんかの本で読んだような気がするけど覚えてないわ。
I mean, if you're a genius, you don't really flaunt your geniosity, if that's even a word.
ねえ、あまねえ。ザリガニに餌あげる時間だよ。
はいはい。 今缶詰開けてあげるからちょっと待ってなさい。
Okay, I guess I'll be going back to my room, but as the words start to leave my mouth, Machina firmly grabs hold of my hand.
座って一緒に本を読んでほしいのよさ。
If I was Yuji, I'd definitely have left. Didn't you finish already?
そうだけど一緒にいてほしいのよさ。ダメ？
No, that's really not what I meant.
ねえ、知ってる？女には男に甘えたい日があるものなのよ。
Oh, that's the first I've heard of it.
それがなんと今日なのよさ。だから甘えさせてくれなきゃダメなのよ。
Some people might look at this, might say this is something endearing. For me, I don't really think of it as endearing. I'm like, no, I don't care. But then again, like I said, as time goes on, I am much more cynical than even Yuji. I see. Because there's no helping it then. I want to be spoiled, so you better spoil me. What an unreasonable demand. If this was Amane, I think I would laugh in her face, call her an idiot, and finish things off with a poke to the forehead. But for some reason, when Machina gets all clingy, it's a bit difficult to fight back. I can't get myself to be too hard on her. Maybe it's because she looks and acts like a child. Soft on children. Well, that isn't a bad thing by any means. But I'm probably the type who dies first when the terrorists start strapping bombs to their kids. But now that I think about it, it's not like you're really that much younger than me, are you?
Huh?
Don't give me that puzzled face.
まあまあ、ほら、こっち来て座って。そして抱っこしてちょうだい。
Look, you. Just for the record, today's a one-time deal. Don't think I'll let you cling to me whenever you want, got it?
はいはい。もう、お兄ちゃんってば本当にツンデレなんだから。
Yeah, I guess the Japanese really like these tsundere archetypes. Both female and males. For me personally, I'm not really a tsundere. I definitely mean what the hell I'm saying. So when I said that, I won't even say what the hell Yuji is saying. I'm not even gonna give someone a one-time deal. Fuck that. Ugh. Again with this. I never really given the matter any thought, but could it be that I really am a tsundere? I mean, can we define the term first? Isn't a tsundere a subspecies of woman that's usually prickly and harsh, but then goes all gooey and sweet for some reason? In that case, I don't get it. When exactly have I ever been in that saccharine lovey-dovey mode? Well, come to think of it, in letting Machina occupy my knee like this, I have to admit my aura of masculinity seems to have faded a bit. But this is merely an expression of my magnanimous spirit toward the young. It's not like I'm giving her lap access because I personally enjoy having her there, or anything. Whatever, Yuji.
そうだねえユージくん。
What?
そういえばさ、ザリガニの餌ってサバの水煮缶でもいいのかな？
Okay, that was random, Amane. Yeah. Basically, anything without carotene in it is fine.
おや？
What's that supposed to mean? What is it already? You're making me ill. If you have something to say, how about you say it?
いやー、なんかもうすっかり懐いてるなーと。いいな、羨ましい。
You're the one who told me to make friends with Machina, you know?
やだな、別に責めてないじゃない。でも正直こんなに早く馴染むとは思ってなかったからちょっと意外かな。あれ、マキナ寝ちゃった？
Say what? Oh, I thought she was done. Yeah, read it into the mic some more, Machina. Are you done? I think she's done. I thought she'd been unusually quiet for a few seconds there, but at some point, Machina's eyes have fallen shut. Still sitting on my lap, her head is jerking back and forth with her breathing. I'm sure she was awake just a minute ago.
マキナはね、たまにあるのよ。 そうやって突然寝ちゃうことが。
Come to think of it, there was that time I found her in the rose garden, unconscious in the bushes. A frequent occurrence?
まあ頭をたくさん使った時とかたまにね。さっき本を読んでたからそれが原因かも。その子放っておくと1日14時間ぐらい眠るのよ。
Really does remind you of a cat, doesn't she?
時々立ったまま寝ちゃうことがあって、そのまま倒れて頭を打ったりするから気をつけないといけないんだけど。
Man, after having my life, what is it? Having my routine very much organized, I really can't comprehend how people can sleep 14 hours a day. That is something that is incomprehensible to me. But then again, like I said, my routine is very, very organized. I'm mostly like Yuji. I know when I eat, I know when I exercise, I know when I sleep. So basically my body rhythm is very good. So having someone that's out of whack like that, I actually don't understand how you can live, you know, comfortably.
今日はユウジくんの膝の上で助かったわ。ユウジくんのこと相当気に入ってるみたいね。
I don't get it. Why get attached to someone like me?
そう？私にはなんとなくわかるような気もするな。
Hmm?
そう、例えばさ、ユウジくんはマキナのことを見てかわいそうな子だなって思う？
No. Can't say it does. More like what a hopeless kid. I can't say I've ever felt pity for her.
でしょ？まずはそれが一番の理由じゃないかな。
The hell? I mean, if the first thing that pops into your head is like how pitiful someone can be, aren't you fucked up in the head anyway? The hell? Is there a number two reason?
そうね。ユウジくん本人はあんまり自覚がないかもしれないけど、ユウジくんってマキナのこと嫌いじゃないでしょ？っていうか、ちょっと可愛いと思ってない？
I'm not sure about that one. Well, I definitely don't hate her. That said, I think I've thought of her as annoying more often than cute. Maybe you've got the wrong idea about me, Amane, but I tend to say what I think, even the kids. When Makina annoys me, I tell her straight out.
そうやってマキナが膝の上で寝ちゃってるのにどかそうともしない人の言うことじゃないよ、それ。
That's... Well, just don't have any real reason to wake her up at the moment, I guess.
でもまあ、そうだね。変に我慢して同情されるより、はっきりと言ってくれる人の方がわかりやすいのね、マキナには。
I mean, I'm the same way. Then again, not a lot of people call me sympathetic. They call me insensitive for the most part. I don't treat her gingerly out of sympathy. When she does something truly stupid, I don't overlook it out of pity. And Makina actually prefers it that way. Is that what she's saying?
それでいて、結局はマキナに甘いしね。そりゃ懐くわよ。
Yeah, I think that's the main reason, to be fair. I'm sweet to her? Yeah, you are, Yuji. Like I said, if I were Yuji, I wouldn't do anything whatever she... Like, I wouldn't even do what half the stuff she wanted. For sure.
まあいいんじゃない？そういうらしくないところも含めてユウジくんなんだしさ。
Since when were you such an expert on my character?
お、マキナ起きた？
私また寝ちゃってた。
まあ15分ぐらいかな。何か夢を見た？
覚えてない。
そっか。じゃあはい、これ。
何？
サバ缶だよ。ザリガニに餌をあげるんでしょ？
そっか。たくさん食べてまるまると太るのよ。
She's kind of tottering around. Is that a good idea?
いつものことだし平気よ。
これ味がしないのよさ。
You sure about that? She seems to be eating from the can of crawfish food.
いつものことだし平気よ。
You know, it kind of feels like you don't really give a damn.
それもいつものことよ。
My throat sticks shut halfway through my attempt at a laugh, and I'm sent into a coughing fit. What the fuck? Okay.
ちょっと大丈夫？
Amane grabs a half-finished can of orange juice Makina left lying on the table and hands it over to me. I gulp down the contents immediately. I'm fine. I'm as terrible at laughing as I am at smiling. Also par for the course.
それはいつか直してあげなきゃね。
Fix? Why is that necessary? In the first place, is a crappy smile really something you can fix?
まあとりあえずあんたの作り物っぽい笑顔とマキナのデタラメな言葉遣いを直してあげるのが私の当面の目標かな。
もう私の言葉遣いのどこがおかしいっていうのよさ。
You do have a potty mouth, Makina.
まず自分の言葉遣いがおかしいってことに本人が気がついていないってのが一番の問題よね。
うっさいしゃくれ。
あんたなんやその口の利き方。しゃくれてへんわほんで。こんこはほんま。
Chin face, is that supposed to be a, you know, an insult?
これ待ち。こんこはほんま。誰に似たんか口の悪い。ええ加減にせんとお口縫うてまうよ。
そんなに強く引っ張ったらダメなの。
Damn, that's loud. Every once in a while, you'll find a person with a bad habit they're not even aware of until someone points it out to them. Watching this scene, I've had my suspicions more or less confirmed. Makina's strange quirk seems to be partially the result of contamination from Amane's less admirable habits. But as a humble and discreet gentleman, I'm frankly at a loss as to whether to disrupt the status quo by informing Amane of the log in her eye. My deeply ingrained Penin Yas warning system is also kicking in. There's a good chance the messenger is going to get killed on this one, so my lips are remaining sealed for the moment. The human mind is a well-designed piece of machinery. It has ways to cope with the coexistence of such pros and cons, truths and fictions. When your mind finds itself facing a contradiction, your thoughts tend to fly off in completely unrelated directions. It's a self-defense mechanism, just like that burning need to clean that always pops up in the night before the big test. What? Really? Never happened to me. So before I realize it, my attention has been drawn to the pleasant rattling sound of something boiling in a pan. The oden broth's smooth, flavorful smell tickles my nose. I'm hungry. In the end, it would be another 30 minutes before I ate my dinner for that day. Talking about people's mistakes and all that, sometimes even when you tell them straight up what the hell the mistake is, people still doesn't want to change their ways of thinking. It's so retarded. I mean, sure, sometimes I act the same way, but I like, you know, I'm the type of person that likes progress. If I know something is wrong, I'm not going to do the wrong stuff I'm doing every other day or every day for the rest of my life. I'm trying to change it, you know? But of course, I guess, what is it? Every person has their own way of thinking, and I don't really need to force my own beliefs on other people. There's no gym teacher in the school, but that hasn't stopped some shameless individual from putting physical education on our schedule. A healthy spirit dwells in a healthy body. It's easy to laugh these words off as a relic of the baby boomer generation's Neanderthal obsession with building character through guts and willpower, but in my school, we have these things called character development, actually, where the students go to the military area and then they were taught there for maybe a couple of days. Somewhat to build character, just like what Yuji says there. In fact, it seems there actually is a good amount of scientific data linking moderate physical exercise to positive psychotropic effects. Personally, having been brought up with the simplistic lesson that basic physical strength decides things in the end, I don't have any objection to moving my body. That said...
おっしゃー しまっていこう
Amane's pointlessly powerful voice resounds across the field. In response, there's a vaguely apathetic chorus of "yeah" from her classmates. An unenthusiastic "yeah" from the transparently disinterested Michiru. A dopey "yes" from Makina, unintentionally draining any shred of motivation from all who hear it. A vigorous "yay" from Sachi, who's taking everything seriously as always, but her voice cracks shrilly at the clearly unfamiliar exercise. And finally, stony silence from Sakaki, who's sulking like a prideful middle schooler forced to participate in a children's athletic meet. The only one of the bunch with any real energy would be Amane, thrusting her fist toward the heavens from her position on the mound. As for me, without the beginning of a clue as to what's about to take place here, I'm staring absent-mindedly up at the sky. And how are you doing today, everybody? Hey, Amane.
ああ、なんじゃい俺
Why are you so ridiculously fired up?
うちの子たちってなんでかみんなインドア派っていうか体を動かすのが嫌いな子が多くてね
So?
こうしてから元気でテンション上げていかないとなかなかやる気出さないのよ
That's actually a positive thing. I have some more respects for you, Amane. But the old me probably would be like, yeah, what the fuck? Why are you forcing me to do exercise?
なんだ貴様らどいつもこいつも青秒炭みてえな顔しやがって気合を入れろジジイのピーの方がまだ気合が入っている
What?
この腐れピーども
Well, seems like we've got someone exploding with a weird sort of drill sergeant energy at least.
ちょっと待っててねマキナちょっとこっちおいで
Amane seizes Makina's head from above like a basketball and forcibly carries her off into the shadows.
マキナ元気なのはいいけど言葉遣い気をつけようねっていつも言ってるよねわかりましたかラメって言っちゃダメだぞ
Amane's voice somehow manages to be both sickly sweet and ice cold. It's enough to send shivers down my spine. Makina's bitter, heart-rending screams don't help either. I think Amane's trying to maintain a relatively kind tone of voice, but she's actually more frightening as a result. It crosses my mind that this could very well be described as bullying. But considering the current climate of hypersensitivity towards such matters, I'll refrain from voicing any hasty conclusions.
どうでもいいけどやるならさっさと始めましょうよ時間なくなるわよ
That's fine by me, but what exactly is it that we're doing?
いつものスポーツでしょバカバカしいどうして私がこんなことに付き合わなければいけないのかしら
Sports? I was hoping for more specific details, but playing sports in gym class hardly seems ridiculous. More like completely commonplace. You know, come to think of it, I don't understand how a lot of females actually are able to maintain a good, at least in my school. There are a couple girls that are fat. I mean, like, I don't really think anything of it, you know? But there were definitely a lot more males that are fat compared to girls. So, do girls actually eat a lot less or something? Because I know for a fact that girls don't really exercise a lot, at least in my school. But they are not really all that fat, except for a couple of few.
それは私からご説明しましょう
So I am quite curious about that. Not like there's a lot of people that are watching this that are female, of course. Before that, I've got an unrelated question if that's alright.
はいどう
Oops,
ぞ
sorry. Why are you the only one in a maid uniform?
はい
Don't give me that totally nonplussed look. For a second, you almost convinced me that I'm the strange one here.
この服ですかよくご覧になれば一目瞭然かと存じますがご覧の通りこれは体操用のメイド服で
Sorry, let's move on. Shouldn't have asked. My mistake. The strangest thing here wasn't her clothes. It was me expecting anything resembling common sense from a student at this school. Okay, so what exactly does sports involve here?
ですね、なんと言いますか、種目の名前はないんですよ。キックベースのような、サッカーのような、ソフトボールのような、ドッジボールのような、それらすべての要素を加味した新ジャンルとでも言いますか。
What kind of extreme sport is this? All I got out of your description is that there's probably a ball involved.
はい、使用するのはバレーのボールです。
Sachi hands me a large round ball she'd been holding onto.
このボールをあそこのピッチャーマウンドから投げまして、バッターボックスに立った打者が手にしたバットでそれを打ちます。
That is ridiculously stupid. If you've ever, even used a volleyball before, you'd know that it's not like a baseball. What the fuck? They hit a volleyball with a bat?
はい、打球が内野に転がったら打者は一塁へ向かって走ります。守備側は打球をキャッチして走者に向かって思いっきりボールを投げつけます。
This is so
そ
dumb.
れが走者に当たったらアウトです。3アウトでチェンジです。
What if someone catches the ball on the fly?
それもアウトです。その辺は野球に近いかもしれないですね。
When and why did this strange game come into fashion?
別に流行ってるわけじゃないわよ。ただうちの学校って今まで学生が5人しかいなかったから、何をやるにしても人数が足りなかったのよ。
Then just do normal sports like running or something. What the hell? You don't necessarily have to play a game for sports.
それにソフトボールをやりたいとかドッジボールがいいとかいろいろと意見が分かれまして。
So you ended up just doing them all at once. Was this your doing, Sakaki?
そうやって何でもかんでも私のせいにしないでほしいわね。もう確かに言い出したのは私だけれど、
Then don't complain when I blame
い
you.
つまでたっても意見の一致が見られないから、だったら全部やればいいと言っただけよ。別に全てをいっぺんにやれと言った覚えはないわ。それよりもルールが理解できたのならさっさと始めてほしいのだけれど。
What about Amane and Makina?
いるわよここに。
引っこ抜けっかと思ったのよさ。
Ugh. Mute it just in time there. I had to sneeze. What exactly?
首とか魂とか。
Amane.
何よ、教育でしょ。この子ってば注意してあげないとどんどん汚い言葉を覚えてバンバン使いたがるんだから。
Are you her mother or what? And so, after 15 minutes of wasted time, with Amane's second shot of, alright, let's do this, our bewildering match of mystery extreme sports begins. Through the impartial results of rock, paper, scissors matches, the teams are divided as follows. Bear team, pitcher, Suo Amane, catcher, Sakaki Yumiko, fielder, Irisu Makina. Rabbit team, pitcher, Kazami Yuji, catcher, Komine Sachi, fielder, Matsushima Michiru. Our rabbit team ends up being first to bat. The leadoff batter dons a softball helmet, grabs a colorful metal bat, and takes her place in the batter's box.
よーし、かかってきなさい。
With a grating, high-pitched shout, Michiru thrusts her bat out to point at the pitcher's mound, where Amane is settling into her stance with the volleyball in hand. What's this? Considering how apathetic she was, Michiru's gotten surprisingly into it now that the game started.
ええ、みちる様は何と言いますか、とりあえず何でも嫌ってみて何にでも面倒くさがってみるところから始める人なんですけど、
I get the picture, Sachi.
いざ始まってしまえば一番ムキになる方ですから。
I see. But I'm willing to bet she's also the first one to get bored.
ご明察です。
Unaware of the critical analysis she's receiving from her teammates, Michiru takes a few vigorous practice swings, then glares up at Amane.
前回の借り、今日こそ返してあげるわ。あー、なんだっけ、おめえ挽回。ちょっと言い間違えただけでしょ。人の小さなミスをそうやっていつまでもネチネチと、もう。
Watching Michiru stamp her feet in frustration in the batter's box, I whisper to Sachi, who's sitting next to me on the bench. So, what happened last time?
はい、前回の授業でみちる様は天音さんから1点も取ることができなかったんです。それでまあ試合終了後に大きな声で「このおめえはいつか挽回するから覚えていなさい」と。
Ah. Disgrace tends to be something you want to repay, not regain. I guess the words are kind of similar. Michiru must have gotten all excited and shouted out a garbled sentence before she even knew what she was saying. Just a thought here. Might Michiru be something of an idiot?
私の口からは何とも申し上げにくいです。
そこ聞こえてるわよ。ごちゃごちゃうるさい。
Yeah, sorry. Didn't intend to distract you. We'll keep quiet, so please regain as much disgrace as you like.
だからおめえは返上するもので挽回するものじゃないのよ。
As Michiru screeches like a drugged monkey and brandishes her bat overhead, Amane's first pitch sails over the plate.
ストライク。
こーらずるいわよ。
なんもずるないわ。試合はもう始まってんねん。
屈辱だ。
Receiving the return throw from Sakaki, Amane carefully finds her foothold in the pitcher's mound, a fearless smile on her face.
ほら、第2球行くわよ。来い。
With that intense shout, Michiru takes firm hold of her bat and fixedly watches Amane's pitching motion. Looking closely, Michiru's got the position of her hands on the bat reversed. But if I mention that now, I get the feeling her only response would be another "shed it." Guess I'll just watch over her gallant battle with silent respect. Amane twists her long limbs into a sidearm motion, and the volleyball soars toward the squatting Sakaki's hands at an ideal velocity and angle. Can you even throw a freaking volleyball that hard? Or even that far? I don't think so. I mean, baseball, it makes sense because it's a small ball, so it's easy for it to go in a straight line. But if you try to fucking throw a volleyball, it's different. It's going to float. Or not float, but it's not going to have the same amount of speed as a freaking baseball. Just doesn't make any sense. At least to me, but whatever, this is anime. With an explosion of energy, Michiru swings her bat at full force, but tragically, she cuts through empty air a good 10 centimeters above the top of the ball, her blonde twin tail swinging aimlessly behind her.
ストライク。
なんでよ。
Michiru slams her bat on home plate in a towering rage.
あと1球よ、みちるちゃん。
ちゃんって言うな。子供扱いしないでよ。次こそは打つ。この日のために編み出した伝説の打法が。
Hey, Michiru.
何よ。
You've got your hands wrong. You're batting right, so your right hand should be on top. You've got it backwards.
知ってるわよ。わざとよ。どう持つのよ。
You're obviously clueless. Hold it with your right fist higher on the bat, your left fist below.
そういうことはもっと早く言いなさいよ。なんなのよもう。
ねえ、続けていいの？
いいわよ。いつでも来なさいよ。もう少し待ちなさいよ。
I've never played baseball before, so I don't actually know that's how you do it. I would have done it with the same way as how Michiru was holding it before.
どっちなの？
来い。
As Michiru bears her fighting spirit, Amane's face briefly suggests a dubious, "Are you sure about that?" But she's not the type to think too hard about this sort of thing. Her expression soon gives way to a smirking grin.
じゃあ、全力でいくよ。
Forcefully swinging the ball up in her right hand, Amane takes a step forward on the mound, throwing the movement of her entire body into the pitch. The ball flies out of Amane's hand, whistling through the air directly at its target, which is Michiru.
みちる様、危ない。想定通りよ。
Michiru, anticipating the beanball, pulls back half a step with her pivot leg and swings her bat in a wide arc.
うらえ。伝説のピッチャー返し。
Michiru's vigorous stroke of the bat catches the ball beautifully in the sweet spot, sending it flying back toward Amane on the mound.
あれは伝説のピッチャー返しです。
Don't humor her, please, Sachi. God damn it. Well, that's what she screams, so I would assume so. Exactly where and how this thing became a legend is a question for another day. The ball rushes straight back toward Amani, who's still in an awkward position from releasing her pitch. That thing's going to hit her. Or so I thought for a split second. Amani nimbly recovers and takes a firm stance as the ball approaches her. Turning to the side, she swings back with her left elbow and unleashes a firm right-handed fist stab in model karate form. What the fuck? With a resounding thud, the ball is sent flying back toward where Michiru stands in the batter's box. See, the reason why they can do this is because when you're using a volleyball, it doesn't have the same amount of force or the same amount of speed when you're using a freaking baseball. So I assume that's why it's easy for you to just hit it back again. Michiru fires it right back. Right off the bat, and we already find ourselves in a deadlock? Or rather, what the hell is with this development? I'm sort of reminded of those martial arts matches where both fighters run into the center of the ring at the first gong, stop dead, and just start bashing away at each other, but... where do things go from here? Are they planning to repeat feature paybacks until they just run out of steam? I can't read the next move. A strange game. There's no apparent path to victory for either side. Hey Sachi,
はい、なんでしょう。
what exactly is a pitcher pack?
さあ、おそらくですけど、マキちゃんは舌が短いので、ピッチャー返しと言おうとしてセリフを噛んだだけかと。
I see. Man, I guess the voice actors are at least having fun when they were doing this. Sparks continue to fly as the battle to the death between Mound and batter's box continues along its repetitive course. But, I mean, what exactly are they getting all worked up over? It's too damn hot for this. But I suppose women have their own battles that must be fought to the bitter end. This is clearly a contest between two truly indomitable spirits. By the way, Sachi,
はい、なんでしょう。
just how long is this feudal exchange going to continue?
さあ、おそらくはどちらかが諦めるか飽きるかするまでだと思いますけど。
Truly a thrilling, edge-of-your-seat battle of the wills. Mind if I use this opportunity to go buy a drink?
あ、私が買ってきましょうか。
No, I think I'll get it myself this time. At my words, Sachi skewers me with a searching glare.
まさか榊さんみたいにジュースを買いに行くって言ってそのまま帰ってこないつもりじゃないですよね。ダメですよ。
Damn, you're sharp, Sachi. As the thought, damn, she saw through me, runs through my head, I make eye contact with Sakaki, who still crouched behind a plate.
なんなの？こっちを見ないでくれる？
So there was a previous offender, eh?
うるさいよね。こんなの時間の浪費だわ。
That's true. Well, can't argue with that. So we resign ourselves to watch over their battle to the end, with the calm gazes of the elderly, watching their overly energetic grandchildren skip rope with all their might. But just as I'm beginning to think that this fiery clash of pride between Michiru and Amani might truly never end, the conclusion arrives in an unexpected form.
ピッチャー返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し返し
Damn, what the hell happened? Hey Sachi,
はい、なんでしょう。
what does that ga just now signify?
さあ、おそらくですけれど、天音さんが足を滑らせて足首をくじいた音ではないでしょうか。
I see. Wait, should that be my reaction here? So, isn't that kind of bad?
やばいですか？
Sachi stares blankly back at me for a moment. After a beat, her eyes widen and her mouth springs open.
やばいですよ
As we hurriedly jump off the bench, Makina is already rushing up to Amane, who's currently writhing on the mound.
死ぬないたたたた
I mean, it does sound pretty bad from the sound effect. Although it might look like a slapstick comedy scene if you squint, the atmosphere is actually pretty tense, till a burst of out-of-place laughter breaks it.
それ見たことか
Michiru points toward the mound with her right hand, her left hand resting on her hip, her proud face the image of woman triumphant.
この私にこの私に勝負を挑もうなんて10年早いわよ
She's saying such typical lines like you're 10 years too young to challenge me or some shit. I don't know why it's localized like that. Should you really be striking a victory pose right now? You're completely burned out yourself.
うるさいわねこの程度なんてことダメごめんクラクラするサチ酸素持ってきて
Her faint voice abruptly failing her altogether, Michiru's body begins to shake violently. She collapses to her knees on the spot with a thump.
倒れたよチルチルも死んだよ Oh my god なんてこったどうして私の好きになる人はみんな死んじゃうのよさ
死んでないからちょっと立ちくらみが
Michiru scatters sparkling vomit onto the ground with a sickening gurgle. Would this be the so-called double KO? So Sachi, in this case, can we declare the one who stands up inside the 10 count the winner?
いえもうそういった場合じゃないと思いますすみません風見さん私はみちる様の様子を見ますのであまねさんの方お願いできますか
Roger.
ドジった
あまね大丈夫今なんかグキーって曲がっちゃいけない方に足が曲がってたよね
Yeah, always be careful. Never really exercise outside of your comfort zone. I say that, but I really like pushing myself a lot myself. But yeah, I don't really recommend people to do the stuff that I'm doing at least. Probably shouldn't try to stand. If the bone's broken, the pressure might make it break the skin.
怖いこと言わないでよ
Look, just stay put. Let me see your foot. Amani, supported by her hands, slowly shifts to a sitting position on the mound. I take her right leg in my hand and lift it up to take a look. It's not any worse than I expected. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be a fracture, but there is red swelling beginning around the joint. Doesn't seem to be broken, but a sprain? Well, if we're unlucky, might be a partial fracture.
捻挫か久しぶり私さ身長の割に足のサイズが小さいから昔からよく転ぶのよね
That's why you need to train your legs some more than Amane. Either way, it's the infirmary for you. Can you stand?
なんとか
Don't put weight on your right foot. Just get yourself onto my back. Don't give me that. It's not so bad right now because you're pumped full of adrenaline from the shock. But if you overdo it, you'll be crying later. Hurry up and get on.
優しいどうしたの急に
I'm not going to play along with your jokes right now. You're hurt. Stop wasting time and do what I tell you. Amane softly leans her body against my back and grabs the shoulder of my gym uniform somewhat hesitantly. You need a better grip than that. Wrap your arms around. Get a hold on my neck.
わかったわよこう
As instructed, Amane wraps her arms around my neck, pushing her breasts firmly against my back. Normally, I'd be throwing out a joke or two at this point, but this isn't the time. Sachi, I'm taking her to the infirmary. How's Michiru?
はい。みちる様は今酸素吸入中です。5分程度で回復すると思われます。
Does she actually have oxygen here? Like an oxygen tank? Jesus Christ, Sachi. Michiru lies flat on the ground, limp as a beached tuna. Sachi's holding a portable can of oxygen to her mouth as we speak. I'm leaving command of the field to you. Adjust your tactics as the situation demands. Can you handle it, class representative?
はい。小峰幸いただきます。
For some reason, maybe instinctively reacting to my tone, Sachi raises a hand in salute toward me. Alright, here we go, Mane.
ごめん。
Not a problem. This isn't something you need to apologize for. I thought about that response, but ultimately decided against it. The wounded tend to grow timid toward those around them. Better to avoid warding that might make her think of herself as baggage burdening others. Don't want to increase her anxiety. That's actually pretty fair, or pretty true. I keep up a flow of communication, standard procedure to ensure the wounded doesn't faint out of pain. Where's the infirmary? Amane, do you know?
その先を右。突き当たりまで行ったら左に行くと保健室があるよ。
We'll be there soon. Try to endure it for the moment.
大げさだな。たかが捻挫だよ。
Don't make light of leg injuries. Soldiers get abandoned when they can't walk.
へえって。いや、まあ、そっか。そうだよね。怪我した子から死んでいくんだよね。
That's true? Don't worry. Japan won't desert you, and I won't leave you to die either.
ごめんね。私、重いでしょ。
Not particularly. 5 bags of rice or so at most. 10 kilos, so like what, 50? Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad.
ちょっと、なんで私の体重知ってるのよ。
Wait, really? 50 for her height? That's like nothing. What the hell? I'm used to carrying around heavy luggage on my back. I can estimate weight from the feeling on my shoulders.
あのさ、おぶってもらっておいてこんなこと言うのもあれなんだけど、この場合ね、普通は全然重くないよとかさ、なんかこう女の子に対して気を使ったりするもんなんじゃないのかな。
You're lighter than I expected. Probably only looked heavy from your height and that oversized chest. You've got long legs, too. That must have thrown me off.
足が長いって褒めてくれてるのは嬉しいけど、なんか複雑。ちなみに私の体重ってどれぐらいだと予想してた？
My impression was that you'd be comfortably above 60 kilos. Yeah, like, that means she's like 50 something? That's super small. Are you kidding me? I don't know how tall Amane is, but I am 157 centimeters. That's 5'1" for you guys in America. And I am 62 kilos.
そういうことを言わないの。
I think she's reasonably about 6 foot. As she speaks, Amane sharply tightens her arms into a chokehold around my neck. Look, stop thrashing around. You'll be the one crying if I drop you. I come to a brief halt on the spot and lift Amane's body, which had been sliding down my back, up more firmly around my shoulders.
そっか、今ならユージ君、両手が塞がってるよね。
What are you planning, woman? In the next moment, Amane gently closes her eyes, still clinging tightly to my neck. She brings her lips close. Hey! I take an immediate evasive action in response to her suspicious movements, but Amane's lips nonetheless press against my cheek. That's more like your neck, damn it.
取られちゃったか。
What the hell is wrong with this woman? I've got half a mind to drop her on the hallway floor, but we are dealing with an injured party here. I turn my head to the side to stare into Amane's face, finding her blushing in apparent embarrassment. I thought I met her for the first time at this school, but maybe...
何よ、人の顔じっと見て。
It's nothing. No matter how long or how carefully I study Amane's features, nothing comes to mind. I was entertaining the possibility she might have been some childhood friend I'd parted from in tears, or what have you. But I'm pretty well convinced that isn't the case. which would leave. Do I look like the lover you were tragically separated from in your previous incarnation? Is that it?
何それ、人を電波扱いしないでよ。っていうか、この学園でそういうこと言わないの。シャレにならないから。
Pouting her lips, Amane knocks a fist against my head with a solid thunk. What are you anyway?
スオアマネ。
Yes, my short-term memory is perfectly fine, thanks. Every time Amane speaks, her soft breaths strike my ear. Is it just my imagination? Or has her body temperature slowly been rising while I've had her on my back? If she's suffered a partial fracture on that ankle, it might be that her body's beginning to generate a fever. Better get a move on. Again lifting Amane further up on my back, I hurry to the infirmary. Doc, emergency case! Get a move on!
いや、ドクって。
Still carrying Amane, I push my way forcefully into the room and shout for attention. But there is no one here whatsoever, much less a doctor. Why isn't anyone here? Everyone take a break at once?
うちには保健の先生っていないのよ。とりあえずベッドの上で下ろして、あとは自分でやるから。
There's no doctor. You mean they haven't hired anyone at all to staff this room?
そういうこと。
For the time being, I lower Amane onto a nearby bed.
保健の先生が来るって話は前からあるんだけど、なかなかいい人が見つからないみたいでね。薬とかは業者の人が来てたまに入れ替えてるみたいなんだけど。
Well, fine. I'll take care of the treatment.
できるの？
I learned first aid at my previous school. I can handle something like this at least. I kneel in front of Amane's leg, untie and remove her athletic shoe, then take her red, swollen right ankle in my hand. I'm going to move it. Tell me if it hurts.
うん。
Her ankle's slender, but compared to her uninjured left foot, it's clearly inflamed pretty badly. I bent Amane's ankle to various angles, carefully searching for the location of her injury. It's not fractured after all, but I think the ligament might have been stretched or the joint capsule ruptured. Taking a roll of medical tape from the infirmary's first aid kit, I loosely wrap it around Amane's ankle, restricting the range the joint can move. Then retrieve ice from the freezer, stuff it into a bag, and press it over the injury through a towel, relieving the heat of the inflammation.
ありがとう。ずいぶん楽になったわ。手慣れてるのね。
Well, just a bit. I'm accustomed to treating sprains and burns at least. When I was a kid, I was getting hit pretty much every day, and I still get my fair share of injuries even now.
やっぱり優しいね。ユウジくん。
Spare me. How exactly am I a nice guy? I just treated an injury. Anybody would do that much.
そうやって冷たい態度を取るのは、私に優しいやつだって勘違いされると、甘えられて鬱陶しいから？
To be honest, Amane's words are pretty close to the bullseye. When human beings find kindness, they naturally take advantage of it. Before they realize it, they've grown dependent on that kindness. They lose their ability to function without it. If I disappeared, what would you do with yourself? My master spoke those words to me when I was still a child.
正直ね、保健室に着いた時点で、じゃあ俺は行くからって言われるのを覚悟してたんだけど、ユウジくん、何も言わずに治療してくれたじゃない？驚いちゃった。
Alright then, I'll be going. As I raise my right hand in farewell, Amane grabs my clothes firmly to prevent my retreat.
ちょっと、怪我をしてナーバスになっている女の子を一人にする気？もう少し一緒にいなさい。
Am I the only one who thinks she should be slightly more nervous about being alone with a teenage male in this room? Which has a bed, when her leg is injured to the point that she can't walk? What do you want from me? If you have something to say, then spit it out already.
じゃあ、はっきり言うけど、ねえ、私の彼氏になってよ。
What?
聞こえなかったかな？もう一度言おうか？
Why are you saying this?
君のことが好きだから。
Since when?
初めて会った時からずっと一目惚れってやつかな。
Yeah, I don't believe in that shit, Amane.
なんか冷たい反応。私の言ってることを信じてないでしょう。
Then let me ask, what part of me did you fall in love with?
そうね。 なんかダメ男っぽいところ。私さ、こいつ私がいなかったらどうやって生きていくんだろうみたいな、そういう男に弱いみたい。
I see. Can't say I have a problem with reliable women myself.
あ、マジで？それって好都合じゃない？どうする？じゃあ付き合っちゃおうか。
What does this girl think she's grinning about? Momentarily speechless with amusement, I hold my right palm to my forehead and run it through my hair. Run it up through my hair. Look, is teasing me that much fun?
そういう言われ方は心外なんだけど。じゃあさ、彼氏がダメならお姉ちゃんになってあげる。
What?
優しくて綺麗なお姉さん欲しくない？
I regret to inform you that we're not hiring big sisters at the present time.
いつ募集するの？
We anticipate no vacancies until doomsday.
なんだよそれ。
That's my line, idiot. Shifting my grip on the ice pack, I give Imani a slap on the ankle.
もう女の子いじめて楽しい？
One thing I do find commendable for Yuji, though, is that the fact that he really takes it in stride. Like anything that is going on, he really takes it in stride. I probably would have, you know, at least shown somewhat of an angry nature, considering the nature of what's going on here. But then again, I don't know. Like, I don't really want to say much because what I'm saying might be counting as a spoiler, but yeah, I guess we'll see later on. Let's see. If you make it a yes/no question, then yes. I think I'd be safely on the enjoys bullying girl side.
サディストか。でも大丈夫。私ってこう見えてもド M だから。
Just what do you want from me exactly?
ねえ、どうしてもダメなの？なんか女としての自信なくすな。
I'm not trying to reject you, but don't you think you're rushing things here?
時期尚早という言葉を使う人はきっと10年経っても同じことを言うよね。
We're not talking about politics here.
だから彼女は諦めてお姉ちゃんになるって言ってるじゃない。ね？
Starting off by asking for the sky and then dragging out concessions as a compromise in the negotiations. You really do think you're a politician.
そろそろ私も傷つくぞ。
I drop my shoulders in an exaggerated gesture and heave a heavy sigh. I'm sure this girl intends to continue this aggressive pursuit until I tell her what she wants to hear. It would be a serious pain in the ass if she tried to push me any harder than this. As a point of compromise, this is probably right at the limit of my tolerance. Yeah, I got it. If you want to play the big sister that badly, I'll go along with it. If there was a mirror in front of me as I speak these words, I'd be staring into the face of a man with the word reluctant stamped on his forehead. Might this have been a hasty decision? Indifferent to my shame and regret, Amane beams happily and drops her hand on top of my head with a gentle thump in grand big sister style.
ならばよろしい。これからはお姉ちゃんって呼ぶんだぞ。
Don't think this means you can pet my head whenever you feel like it. Although I don't go as far as to push Amane's hand away, I can't say this is an especially pleasant feeling. Dutiful and clever dogs, as a rule, don't wag their tails when someone other than their master pats their head. Yeah, this just got super weird. I really don't know how I'm going to see Amane and Yuji's relationship from now on. I don't know, I just feel like it's not organic. I prefer eating my meals alone. Damn, it's already been an hour, 30 minutes? It's been pretty long. Didn't even realize it. I think we only got through like, what, 2 to 3 scenes? Oh shit! Fuck, I keep forgetting. the weird advertising thing is gonna come, so yeah. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Damn, that's so awkward. I really just should just put that at the end of the episode. It's so awkward whenever I forget to do that and then suddenly remember because I'm looking at the time. on OBS. It's just easier that way. For one thing, I don't have to go through the hassle of pretending to enjoy what I'm eating. In the first place, there's no cafeteria or lunch counter in the school. The facilities themselves apparently exist, but after all, you can count the number of students and permanent staff here on the fingers of your hands. Spending the money to run a lunchroom for the benefit of that small a number of people would be completely inefficient any way you look at it. So then you might ask, how does lunch work at this place? It's a pretty simple system. When we arrive at the classroom in the morning, we can write our names in a notebook on the podium. Every lunch period, a supplier delivers food to everyone who signed up. Box lunch catering, as they call it. That's pretty nice. Of course, it's completely up to every individual student whether we take advantage of the catering. Because the menu is basically left up to the supplier, it's possible to sign up only when they're offering something you want. Personally, I haven't asked for delivery even once. It's not that I'm worried about saving money, or that I can't trust food made by others. I don't have any religious principles against eating meat either. I'm just not interested enough in what I eat to bother. Man, you gotta be enjoying your life more often, Yuji. Food is one of those things that you have to enjoy. It's one of the few basic necessities of life. Come on, man. They say it's a common result of being raised in a food-poor environment. And considering the time I spent living together with my master and her crappy cooking, I guess it's only natural. No. I don't think so, Yuji. You're misunderstanding. Come on. Just because you didn't get what you get when you were a kid. Sometimes it depends on the person, but when you don't get something when you're younger, you start to crave it as you grow older, you know? That's just how humans are. But then again, not everyone is like that. A full stomach and adequate nutrition is really all I need. Incidentally, the lunch I prepared for myself today is 3 plain salt rice balls. My side dish was also a quick job. After frying onions and garlic, I threw them together to cook with some canned tomatoes and kidney beans, adding a packet of chili powder for seasoning. Okay, at least you're getting your protein. As my master used to say, humans ain't that fragile. You won't starve as long as you've got beans to eat. But I guess going with nothing but the basics is a bit too bleak for me. No point in living like a monk, so I've also brought an apple for dessert. Kinda feels like I'm eating nothing but red stuff, but there's no point worrying about the meal's appearance. This is perfectly adequate for my needs.
Oi! Yuji!
It's actually a lot better than I thought, though. Old Azai would probably just bring, like, you know, like a liter of milk or something and just chug it down. So now she's dropped the honorific.
Nani?
Don't just call me Yuji, woman.
だって私お姉ちゃんになったんだし、弟にくんづけって変じゃない？
I don't remember giving you permission to not use one.
禁止された覚えもないけど。
Okay, it's now forbidden.
もうなんて横暴なのかしら。なら私も交換条件出すわよ。
What do you want?
私のことお姉ちゃんって呼んだら呼び捨てにするのやめてあげる。
Man, you don't see my face, but I was actually just, you know, like my face is the mirror, just like what Yuji said previously, of not even reluctant, but like not even cringe. It's like pure, pure frowning, I guess.
どうする？ゆうちゃん。
Spare me. Not even my parents ever called me that.
いいからほれ呼んでみお姉ちゃんって。
Ridiculous.
なんだよその態度。だったら私も呼び捨てやめないぞ。
Do whatever you want.
そうするよゆうじ。
Anne, you need something?
いやなんか地味に一人でご飯食べてるからさ。ね一緒に食べない？
No, I'll pass. Take your volunteer work to Machina, why don't you?
もちろんマキナも一緒だよ。マキナお呼んだか？呼んだけどさその言葉遣いはどうだろう。お兄ちゃんもお弁当何食べてるのよさ。聞いちゃいねえし。おにぎりとリンゴとこの赤いのは何？
baked beans.
なんか美味しそうね。それ。
Oh, sorry. Wanna try some?
もうそうやって何でも人が食べてるものを欲しがらないの。まるで普段うちで何も食べさせてないみたいじゃないの。
Is that something that old people really think about? I know my dad used to say shit like that. Either my dad or my sister, I forgot. Every time I went to a friend's place, they always tell me to not eat with them. I'm like, what the hell? What is wrong with you? If they're offering something, why the hell would I refuse? That's so weird.
あまね、パンちょうだい。これ絶対パンと合う。
聞きなさいよ、人の話。おじゃないわよ。っていうかあんたもマキナに何食べさせたのよ。
Like I said, beans. She just had a mouthful. Hardly a big deal.
豆って。うわ、何その40代の独身サラリーマンみたいに質素なお弁当。
Beans are nutritious. There's no problem.
結構美味しいのよ。
どれどれ。
Hey you! Don't just start eating my food.
確かに美味しいけど、これって缶詰だよね。
Well, the beans and the tomatoes, yeah.
私、缶詰も大好きなのよさ。
Look, stop eating it already. This is all I've got.
缶詰といえば、昔から不思議に思ってることがあるのよさ。みかんの缶詰って、どうやってあんなに綺麗に皮を剥いてるの？
They use a machine? They don't. They melt the skin off with acid and alkali.
マジで？なんか体に悪そう。
Don't worry. The chemicals are neutralized, and they wash the fruit with water after. It's perfectly safe.
だったら安心なのよさ。
Hey you! The girl's already halfway through my lunch.
ごめん。お詫びにさ、私たちのお弁当を分けてあげるから。ね。
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not desperate enough to start stealing other people's food.
まあまあ、いっぱいあるんだから遠慮しないでいいのよ。ほら。
Man, I think the way I phrase some stuff is actually a bit more. What is it? I don't know how to what the word is, but I feel like I'm throwing shade at Amane right now. With that exclamation, Amane brings out a huge wrapped lunch. Looks like she's actually got a number of boxes stacked on top of each other.
ほら見てごらんなさい。これが食の彩りというものよ。
Opening the lid, she reveals a box packed with a rich variety of vividly colored side dishes, practically indistinguishable from a delivery lunch from some well-established restaurant. I see. No wonder the neighborhood calls this place the Money Sing Academy. Pretty luxurious for a school lunch.
これ学校の仕出し弁当じゃないわよ。私の自作。
Seriously?
言ってなかったっけ？私の実家ってね、神田で京料理の料亭やってんだよ。
Kyoto food in a district of Tokyo?
うちとこのお母はんは京都の老舗料亭の娘やし、お父はんは神田の料理人なんよ。
Hey, next time I go to Japan, I'll try to visit that Kanda place, okay, Amane? Never actually went there when I was in Japan. No kidding? So that's where Amane's infrequent lapses into that weird Kansai accent come from. And come to think of it, the short-tempered, vaguely masculine side of her personality makes a lot more sense knowing that her father is from a blue-collar neighborhood like Honda.
あまねってばすっごいお料理上手なのよ。お肉が嫌いだからあんましお肉料理は作ってくれないけど、でも、
Oh,
と
sorry.
っても美味しいのよさ。
I was gonna say blue-collar neighborhood. Wonder how that's like. In Japan, anyway. You don't eat meat, Amane? I mean, I've even been to Shinjuku, but I guess that's not really blue color. It's more like the nightlife area or red light district. Now that she mentions it, I don't see much in the way of meat dishes inside this box. Bit of a surprise. I had you down as a carnivore for sure.
いやー、別 別にお肉を食べないわけじゃないし、料理もするけど、ほらね、お肉ばっかり食べてこれ以上大きくなってもあれかなってさ。
Are you serious? That's not at all true at all. What, your breast's getting too heavy?
身長よ。
Well, I guess you can't exactly shed inches the way you can pounds. Of course, cutting back on meat now isn't going to make Amane any less imposingly tall. Protein doesn't make you grow big or taller. It's calcium, damn you. That said, if she keeps a careful eye on her diet, it might help maintain the status quo. Bit of a reactionary approach, considering she's already pretty damn tall. But I guess that's just your typical passive Japanese mindset at work. As JB once told me, there aren't many Japanese who go to the dentist before their teeth start to hurt.
やっぱり男の子はお肉がいいよね。今度また作ってくるから、今日はこれで我慢してよ。
I'm not a huge fan of meat myself. More importantly, I'll take care of my own food expenses. You don't have to worry about my tastes.
毎日マキナの分も用意してるし、今さら一人分ぐらい増えてもどうってことないから遠慮しないでいいんだよ。
Why are you so determined to stick your nose into my eating habits?
だって弟だし。
What?
だってお兄ちゃんだし。
What?
イエーイ。
I don't get it. In other words, they just want to play house? Or maybe somebody, say the principal, ordered them to become friends with a Kazami-kun for some reason. Either way, I prefer to maintain some distance. I can't be as casual about this as a normal student might be. I have too many things I'd like to keep to myself.
だいたいさ、その若さでお昼がおにぎりと豆だけってひもじくないの？
Is it? I'm used to simple food.
そう、それ。その、いじめられるのには慣れているみたいなのもなんか悲しいじゃん。今までどんな食事をしてきたのよ。
Damn. Isn't that just how you perceive things though, Amane? This is probably the reason why I dislike Amane for the most part. She labels stuff for you, you know? Other people's normalcy is not the same as your normalcy, Amane. Shut the fuck up. Okay, that might have been a bit too strong there. I mean, I don't necessarily hate her, but I do find that she's a bit annoying, you know? Well, I don't know. Nothing special. When I was a young kid, I may not have gotten much in the way of luxury, but I ate normal meals. My current emphasis on low-effort, nutritious food is the product of the way they did things at my previous school. Pardon my French, but that place, the principle was eat fast, shit fast. In the morning, we were kicked out of bed at 6 a.m. sharp for roll call, exercise, and running. And once all that was done, everyone made double time to the mess hall for breakfast. The way the schedule worked out, we never had more than a few minutes to eat that meal. Same as what we were doing when we went to the military. Only for 3 days though, but we had a time limit of like 10 minutes to eat the lunch. Or, forgot if it was lunch or dinner, but we only had a couple of minutes before we had to go back to doing whatever exercise we had to do again. Anyone who took their time would get a dressing down from one of the seniors, so everybody suffered whatever food they could grab into their mouth and force it down their throats as fast as possible. Lunch was slightly different, in that the sheer amount of food they gave us became a challenge. The piles of meat and vegetables would have been hard enough to handle alone, but they throw in a heaping bowl of rice as well. We were expected to cram all of that into our stomachs in about 10 minutes, washing it down with miso soup. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we had too. I mean, not necessarily miso soup, more like just some typical chicken soup. But rice and then some vegetables and some meat along with it. And after that, like some chicken soup on a bowl. Naturally, we weren't allowed to leave a scrap of food on our plates. Vomit it up and they tell you to push it all back down again. In other words, the taste was not exactly the first thing on our minds. I never enjoyed eating that much in the first place, so once my meals became outright painful, approaching food in a purely business-like fashion felt like the natural response. Nothing but rice and beans for lunch might seem sad to Amane, but I'm not fighting my friends for a can of food, and I've even got fruit as a dessert. By my standards, this is a high-class elegant meal.
だいたいさ、その食べなきゃいけないから食べるみたいな顔なんとかならないの？
Yeah, that is something that is kind of weird to me though. Or I guess to Amani too. Like I said, you should really enjoy eating. I enjoy eating a lot. It's one of those basic necessities that we have to do every single day. I mean, if you're not enjoying it, that's what? We eat 3 times a day, maybe more for those of you that like to eat more. But that's going to be, I think, about 1/4 of our lives is eating food. Okay, maybe like 1/6 of our lives. If you're not enjoying eating, that's like 1/6 of your life just out the drain. You know? If my face is putting you off your food, I suggest you don't look at it.
もう可愛くないな。綺麗なお姉さんがお弁当を作ってあげるって言ってるんだから、素直にありがとうって言っておきなさいよ。何よ。
Nothing. Yeah, you're right about this one. Sorry.
何？急に素直になったな。気持ち悪い。
Well, can't hurt to play along once in a while. To tell the truth, I had a similar discussion in the past with another pushy woman. Ended up turning into an outright fight. A certain busybody German had this habit of coming to the mountain cabin where I live with my master. Mainly the subject was both the shrill nagging sessions. She'd barge in, clean up without even asking permission, make food nobody asked for, and then leave just as quickly. I think the woman must have gotten some sick pleasure out of it. One day in particular, I got pretty indignant when she put away some book I was in the middle of reading. I ended up firing off the line, "You're not my damn mom," with predictably unpleasant results. Well, it wasn't exactly the first time we fought, and it's true that I found her constant meddling annoying. So I honestly told her as much. Serious mistake. The woman in question, already a full-grown adult, spat out the supremely childish words, "Fine, see if I care." And then, of all things, she broke down in tears, leaving me in a complete bewildered panic. Since that disastrous experience, I've learned a lot about how to handle women. The first lesson, knowing when to back down is crucial. Is it really? I don't think so. Don't resist a woman's kindness. When a woman gets worked up, words won't get through to her. And the most troublesome lesson of all, women of the busybody type remember the smallest grudges through all eternity. I'm happy you're willing to make lunch for me, but don't feel like you have to do it every day. I'd appreciate it when you have the time.
ごめん。さ、別に私、親切の押し売りをするつもりとかじゃなくて、なんていうか。
I guess Yuji is not necessarily wrong in his way of thinking about how to handle women like that. I just think it's a bit too prejudiced, or the way he's saying it doesn't feel right for me. It's not like every woman is like that, or like it feels sexist in a way, you know? Like I said, I'm pretty much gender neutral when it comes to dealing with everyone. So I don't treat women that way, and I don't treat men that way. I treat everyone the same. So it's kind of weird when he phrases it that way. I know your intentions were good, Amani. I don't have a reason to refuse that would satisfy her. That would satisfy her? What? What would satisfy her, I think? Is that a typo? Not one I can bring up here, at least. Anyway, I'm not looking to make the atmosphere in the classroom awkward over something like this. As for Amani, I don't know how she interpreted my sudden change of tune, but she sounds downright contrite about her aggressiveness. We're both being mature about things all of a sudden. Guess the two of us are still capable of being reasonable with each other. Seems like a good sign.
とにかくお弁当にしようよ。私お腹が空いたのよさ。
Hombre. Is that supposed to be Spanish? I don't know if that is. But it sure is funny seeing that in text.
あんたユージのおかず全部食べちゃったじゃないの。
もういつの間に誰だ。
いや、お前だろ。
Well, a healthy appetite is a good thing.
そんなこと言ってると、おにぎりもリンゴも全部食べられちゃうわよ。
リンゴはいちごの次に好きなのよさ。ほほう、恋 いつはとっても美味しそうなのよさ。
あんた今朝リンゴ食べてきたでしょうが、意地汚いことしないの。
I mean, you can eat all the fruit you want, man. I don't really mind giving her the apple, but I thought you said Machina didn't have that big of an appetite.
ああ、まあなんというか食事のバランスが悪いのよね、この子。食べない時には全然食べないし、食べる時には人の3倍くらい食べちゃうのよ。
That's kind of like my friend. It's really unhealthy, though. Sometimes you would eat like a bucket full of KFC in one sitting and then not eat for the rest of the day. I mean, that bucket full of KFC in one sitting is already, what, 3,000 calories or something. So that itself is already unhealthy. Sounds like a bit of an exaggeration. I dropped my hand on Machina's head with a thump. Where would the kid be storing all that in this tiny body?
私もそう思うけど、実際食べるんだもの。ご飯食べた直後だってのに、お腹空いたって言い出したりしてさ。
Yeah, some people I guess have really different bodies. My niece is actually like that too. And she's always asking like, Uncle, where the hell is all the food that I eat go into? Because she's super small. She's like, what, 12? And her body is super thin. She eats quite a lot too. I mean, for her size.
まあそんな日もあるさ。
ねえよ。
Strange. Maybe she works like a mole or a rhino, inefficient at absorbing energy from her food. So she has to keep stuffing herself or she'll starve to death.
話してると時間なくなっちゃうよ。とにかくお弁当にしよう。マキナ、手伝って。
おう。
For a second, I thought I saw a shadow fall across Amani's face, but she and Machina quickly get back to work. They drag nearby desks and chairs up to mine, creating one large island.
大したもんじゃないけどさ、遠慮しないで食べて。
Amane pushes one of the stacked lunch boxes at me. Inside, there's deep-fried tofu covered with red bean paste, accented with thinly sliced boiled daikon radish. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Not to mention broccoli with sesame sauce, fried burdock root, Kyoto-style grilled mackerel, and chicken meatloaf. Together, they make an amazingly well-balanced and elaborate meal. That sounds delicious, damn it. I'm pretty hungry myself. Holding back at this point would be downright rude. I thank her for the food and extend my chopsticks to the sliced daikon radish. Amani's cooking is somewhat light on the seasoning. I noticed as much before, when I had dinner in her room, but to my tongue, used to preservatives and artificial coloring, her food seems extremely gentle. Probably because I haven't eaten real home cooking in a long time. It tastes even better than I expected. Delicious.
なんて？
Amane, you really are an excellent cook.
だから何度も言ってるのよさ。あまねえは上手だよって。
まあ、料理屋の娘だしね。っていうかさ、この前だって私の手料理食べたじゃん。
Yeah, true. The dinner in her room was a simple stew, and the main ingredients were just some off-the-shelf fish products, so there weren't any real surprises. But this meal has the vaguely nostalgic essence of home cooking. The taste calls up faded memories of the meals my mother served me. Honestly, it's a bit of an emotional jolt.
うちの母親がね、アホでもおへちゃでもかましまへんけど、料理だけは覚えとかなあきまへんえってさ。子供の頃から料理はよく教わってたのよね。
I see.
ね、お兄ちゃん、私が食べさせてあげよう。卵がいい？はい、
No, I'll feed myself, thanks.
ほれ、
Even eating with others like this is a concession on my part. This is going way past ticklish and into seriously awkward territory. Machina thrusts the omelet toward my nose with a clumsy grip on her chopsticks. I instinctively pull back and turn a frank scowl in Amani's direction. Hey, Amane. Do something about this girl, or so my glance was intended to convey. But instead, Amane bites her lower lip lightly, and an irrepressible smile spreads across her face. Grabbing a Kinpira burdock root with her chopsticks, she presses it toward my face, which I turn away from Machina's attack.
はい、
Brutus, the hell? At 2. What is with this localization, damn you? I mean, I'm laughing at it, so it's working.
こんなに可愛い女の子が両手に花状態であーんだよ。王様待遇じゃん。
そうなのよ。そろそろ空気読め。
That's my line. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Theoretically, I should gain distance, then suppress each target individually. Step 1. I need a chance to take evasive action. Have to create some sort of distraction. Everyone in this room is now a potential weapon of last resort. My frantic gaze settles on Sakaki, sitting alone in silence, picking food from a catered lunch with her chopsticks. Sakaki, I'm begging you. As Sakaki glances toward us out of the corner of her eye, I send her a desperate SOS with my gaze. Her own silent message follows. Please, don't think you're going to drag me into this. A truly cold and heartless answer. A brief, please try to eat a little more silently from your mouth could have saved my life, and you abandoned me? I've just witnessed with my own eyes the tragic moment. Long years trusting in a superpower's umbrella, forbidden from developing a military, still shedding blood and sweat in defense of our nation, all come to naught. Sakaki, my friend and ally. In the end, was I nothing to you but a shield against the menace of Amane and Machina? A sacrifice to suffer in your place when the time came? No reason to despair, Kazami Yuji. From the start, you were a mere pawn in a great game. A dog, kept alive on the whims of your masters. And you threw away the right to expect mercy from God a long time ago. Didn't you know as much? It's too late now to think of the national interest. All that's left to me is to embrace this moment of reckoning. Endure the unendurable, suffer the insufferable. Shut the fuck up, Yuji. This is just... You're just being spoon-fed, damn it. Find the cool serenity of still water.
こういうの鬱陶しいかな。
What?
こういうさ、私の押し付けがましい仲良しごっこに付き合うのって正直しんどいと思うし、そっとしておいてほしいとか鬱陶しいって思うかもしれない。
Yes, it is incredibly annoying, but Yuji is a tsundere, so I don't think he's gonna say that, is he?
でもさ、私はこういうやり方しかできないし、他の方法が思いつかないのよ。ユージの過去に何があったかなんて知らないし、知ったところで何もしてあげられない。ましてや同情するつもりもない。されるだけ惨めだって知ってるしね。これはさ、私が私を慰めるためにやってるエゴだから、悪いけど我慢しなさい。
Hell no.
というか諦めて。わかったら、はい、口を開けて。
Man, she's being so understanding, but she's also still pushy about it. Just don't get her. I mean, I get her, but I don't get her, you know? It's weird. This Suo Amane woman is too clever at times. When she puts it like that, no matter how badly I want to escape the situation, there's no way I can bring myself to run away. Yes, you can. That ruthless way she cuts off my path of retreat is nostalgic in a way. It reminds me of my big sister. Then again, compared to Kazuki, I guess Amane's methods are almost charming. As that thought passes through my head, the tension naturally drains from my body, and I let my mouth fall open. The kinpira she throws in my mouth has that same simple light seasoning, the same taste of home.
おいしい？
Yeah. The food is good, to be sure. But what's with this stifling feeling? Stifling? I never could remember how the hell to say that word. The reassuring taste of home cooking. The experience of eating with others. These are exactly the sort of things people associate with intimacy and happiness. But in counter-reaction to the peaceful atmosphere, a dark thought spreads through my mind. I shouldn't be sitting here. My chest feels tight. Drawing breath is uncomfortable. I'm off balance. I know exactly why. I've spent 1.5 years since my master's death keeping my distance from others. In that time, I've grown starved for this sort of a contact. And I don't want to admit that to myself, because that means facing the question, do I deserve an ordinary life? Do I have the right to an everyday routine existence, living for small moments of happiness?
いいんだよ。
Huh?
だから私の分も食べていいんだよ。
Yeah.
そうなのよ。男の子なんだからいっぱい食べてまるまる太らないとダメなのよさ。はい。
Damn you, anime! Always giving the answers that you don't even know is right or wrong. Look, I told you I can feed myself. I've got to get used to this sort of thing sooner or later. I want to believe that, but there's a part of me that can't. Even now, there's a nagging discomfort in the corner of my mind. There's always a side of me that accepts and a side of me that denies. And in a fight, the side that denies always comes out on top. I guess that's the first thing I should try to fix about myself. Is there a reason I can't stay broken? An obvious question, but I think I'll leave it for another time. I think we skipped like one day. Alright, that is actually the perfect time to end the episode though. That was actually a really nice scene in contrast to how I was feeling about it. I don't know. That sort of dread, I think that's how you would describe it, right? It's an existential dread that looms over you when you ask yourself whether you can be happy or not. I mean, at the end of the day, no one can really answer that except for yourself. I mean, if I were to answer it for people that asks that question, I mean, yeah, everyone deserves to be happy to some sort of degree. Unless you do something that's too fucked up, then even then, I don't know. I'm not obligated, or I'm not even the right person to ask that question to. Just ask yourself. But alright, I don't even know where I was going with that train of thought. But I am enjoying this game. It's just that they are definitely pushing Amane a lot more than I remember. And I don't know whether I like it or not. I mean, she's not a bad person. But just because she's not a bad person doesn't mean I have to like her, you know? Or she's not even a bad character. But like I said, that doesn't mean I can't dislike her. So alright. With that, I'm going to end the episode here. Tomorrow is a weekend, so hopefully I can play this game or record sessions of it in multiple successions. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time.
セーブしますか？
Peace out.